Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 303 based on novel. So let's start. While Wang Lin moved, he tried to store the bottle in his storage space, but something very strange happened. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't put it in his storage space. Wang Lin was actually prepared for this because if it could really be put into the storage space, then there would have been no need for Master Ashenpine to be holding it. He moved like a bolt of lightning under the effect of the two-speed talismans and shot straight ahead. The giant finger formed by the seven-colored light descended with an earth-shattering roar. It got closer and closer to Wang Lin. The old woman's 3 life and death restrictions were chasing closely after. Under the combined attacks of the 2 powerful mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Since he had dared to steal food from the mouth of the tiger, he was confident in holding them off. Wang Lin suddenly turned and his figure began to swell. A dense ancient god aura filled this 7-colored world. Then ripples appeared around his body as he grew to 100 feet, 500 feet, 1,000 feet. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a 3,000-foot tall titan. 5 clear ancient god stars rotated rapidly between his eyebrows, and a 6th star began to appear. The skin on his large body was rough and formed a rune-like texture. His giant-like body would cause anyone who saw it to feel a sense of fear from their soul. Master Ashenpine's pupils shrank. He had never seen this kind of spell, and his mind was startled. The old woman's eyes shined brightly and were filled with disbelief. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to turn into his true ancient god body. He turned around, looked up at the sky, and directly punched at the descending heavenly fate finger. This was a true punch of an ancient god, and its power could shock the world. This punch was done when Wang Lin was in the form of a true ancient god, so it also contained a heaven-defying will. The thunderous rumble quickly echoed as Wang Lin's giant fist collided with the heavenly fate finger. An indescribable impact spread along with the fierce rumble. The heavenly fate finger began to collapse and dissipate as the powerful force collided with it. Countless specks of 7-colored light scattered and it collapsed even faster. The whole finger unexpectedly disintegrated under a thunderous rumble, and the countless specks of 7-colored light filled the world. All of this happened in a flash. Wang Lin's body trembled, and he borrowed the force to leap with this 3,000 feet body. He crossed an immeasurable distance in one leap and arrived at the foot of the wall-like mountain. Without hesitating, he kicked off the ground and jumped over the mountain before him. The life and death restriction quickly followed and arrived near Wang Lin in the blink of an eye. Wang Lin was currently above the mountain, and his right hand reached at the void. A giant crack appeared, seeming like he had torn the 7-colored world apart. A giant trident that was completely black appeared from the crack. This trident was about 4,000 feet long and pierced the sky. The moment it appeared, an earth-shaking aura spread out. Dense ancient god aura filled the area as Wang Lin grabbed the trident and swept it before his body. 3 black lines appeared across the tip of the trident as if the world was being split open. Holding the trident, Wang Lin stood like a god on top of the mountain. He swept at the restriction with the trident. The restriction closed in and instantly split into 3. It was about to charge at Wang Lin, but at this moment, the trident swept by. The ancient god power inside Wang Lin's body rushed into the trident. The trident released a black light and swept across the restriction. A thunderous rumble echoed as the 3 parts of the restriction were cut in half. The black light from the trident became even more intense and turned into 3 dragons that devoured the restriction. After devouring it, the trident trembled and 3 marks appeared on it. It looked as if Wang Lin was holding 3 black dragons. These dragons were extremely fierce and continued to roar as they twisted their bodies. They revealed monstrous gazes toward Master Ashenpine and the old woman in green. Wang Lin's gaze fell on the 2 people chasing after him. When his gaze swept by, it was as if an icy wind had pierced their bodies and made their bodies feel a sudden chill. Anyone can take the heavenly treasure. What is this stealing you speak of? If the 2 of you continue, then like the heavenly finger and the restriction, I'll slaughter you both. Wang Lin's words echoed as he turned and shot off into the distance. This scene caused Master Ashen Pine and the old woman in green to gasp. This is. Master Ashen Pine's mind trembled and couldn't calm down for a long time. He had cultivated for a very long time and knew of many body refining techniques, but none could produce such a large body. What shocked him the most was that he didn't feel like the body was fake, it was very real. The old woman in green's face was a bit pale as she stared at the giant figure that was about to disappear over the mountain. She clenched her teeth and gave chase. Although Master Ashen Pine was shocked, he had prepared for 1,000 years and had spent a lot of treasures for this. He wasn't willing to just let it be taken from him. At this moment, his eyes were bloodshot and he also gave chase. His right hand pointed at his left shoulder several times and a new arm formed from the seven-colored light. Wang Lin's figure leaped over the mountain and didn't pause as he moved further away. In just a moment, he arrived at the valley where he had placed the restriction. He crossed it with one step and was about to charge ahead. Just at this instant, the old woman chasing after him revealed a vicious gaze. Her hands formed a seal and she pointed at the restriction she had left behind here earlier. The grass under Wang Lin immediately withered and black ashes flew into the sky. They turned into a giant vortex and were about to surround Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a muffled groan as he collided with the restriction and struggled to get through. The vortex formed by the black ashes chased after Wang Lin. At the same time, the old woman's eyes revealed a strange light and she sped up. She jumped off the mountain and instantly closed in. She entered the restriction in the valley. Master Ashen Pine was behind and quickly followed, but his eyes lit up. He hesitated for a moment outside the restriction in the valley and didn't fully enter. It wasn't that he had seen through its weakness, but he was cautious of the old woman in green. Just as the old woman in green entered the restriction, Wang Lin suddenly turned around and pointed at the vortex. The black vortex suddenly turned around and shot toward the old woman in green. Shortly after, countless restriction lights lit up in the valley the old woman was in. These lights were blinding, and the thunderous rumble was enough to shake one's heart. Countless restrictions appeared from the ground and immediately surrounded the old woman. At a glance, there were tens of thousands of them. These restrictions gave off a ghostly light. After fusing the life and death restriction and annihilation restriction, their power was earth-shattering. The moment Wang Lin activated them, all of them rushed toward the old woman. There was also that black vortex. It instantly shrouded the area, making it impossible to see inside. However, the thunderous roars and muffled groans of the old woman could be heard clearly. At this moment, the earth trembled and the old woman's angry roars became even more intense, and there were flashes of blood-red light inside the vortex. The roars continued. It was clear that it was difficult for her to leave. She was in a life-or-death crisis. This scene caused Master Ashen Pine's expression to change greatly. With his wisdom, he immediately realized that this restriction was placed by the old woman but was taken over by Wang Lin. Wang Lin had led her into this killing formation. This person is also proficient in restrictions. Master Ashen Pine looked at the restriction that had completely trapped the old woman. He could clearly feel the power of the restriction. He took a deep breath, but he didn't give up on fighting for the jade bottle. Old woman Zhao being trapped is good for me. As long as I kill that person named Lu, I can take back the jade. With my understanding of this place, no one can find me. There was a flash of killing intent in Master Ashen Pine's eyes, and he made a decision instantly. He moved around the restrictions outside the valley and his hands formed a seal. Tens of thousands specks of golden light appeared and all shot at Wang Lin. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. He had been waiting for this chance. He couldn't battle two mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators at once. He had to injure or trap one of them before he could be safe to battle. Master Ashen Pine was malicious even back on Peng Lai. Seeing the spell closing in, Wang Lin let out a cold snort and waved the trident in his hand. The three dragons roared and the rain of swords was knocked into the sky. They weren't able to close in on Wang Lin. Master Ashen Pine's eyes revealed a vicious gaze and reached out at the void. A crack to this storage space opened and a flying sword flew out. This sword was crystal clear, and the moment it appeared, the aura of a pseudo-Nirvana void treasure surrounded the area. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. Just at this moment, Master Ashen Pine let out a roar and threw the crystal sword. The sword let out a heaven-shattering roar as it flew toward Wang Lin. His first real battle with a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator made Wang Lin excited. He didn't retreat and instead swept the trident forward. The three dragons unexpectedly flew out from the trident and attempted to devour the crystal sword. What was even more strange was that the three marks that had formed after devouring the life and death restriction shined. They flew out and fused with the three black dragons. This caused the aura of life and death restriction to suddenly appear. This was the true power of the trident. It could devour all spells in the world for its own use. This was the ancient god treasure that ancient god Tu-Sai refined back then. Tu-Sai was extremely satisfied with this treasure, but it was lacking a spirit, so he turned it into a mountain and threw it on a planet. He hoped to use time to condense a spirit for it. After he finished his technique, this would be a treasure that would be on par with his god-slaying spear. However, it was unfortunate that Tu-Sai failed and this trident was lost in the flow of time. After the All-Seer obtained it, he could use its power, but he couldn't activate its ability. Only an ancient god could use its ability. Although Wang Lin's cultivation level was below the All-Seer's, he was an ancient god. After experiencing the first trial and 2 calamities, he was now a true ancient god. With the trident in hand, he could display its spell-devouring ability. The 3 dragons were the devouring dragons. The life and death restriction was devoured and became a spell of the trident. The restriction flew out and fused with the black dragons as they rushed at the pseudo-nirvana void crystal sword. This crystal sword was very powerful among the treasures that Master Ashen Pine had. The reason he had taken it out was to quickly kill Wang Lin. As it flew across the sky, it seemed like it could slice the world in half. The black dragons immediately closed in on the crystal sword. A thunderous rumble echoed as the 3 dragons opened their mouths and devoured the crystal sword. At the same time, the 3 black dragons' bodies trembled. A roar came from one of the dragons, but it didn't explode. It struggled to return to Wang Lin along with the other 2 dragons, and they turned back into the trident. There was a faint, crystal glow on the trident's body, then an imprint of the crystal sword slowly appeared on it. Master Ashen Pine's expression changed, but he quickly charged forward. His right hand formed a seal and pointed forward. A flash of light appeared before him and instantly changed into endless sword energy. The sword energy filled the sky and shot at Wang Lin. Shortly after, his right hand reached at his storage bag and 3 beads appeared. He threw them and shouted, "Summon, defying one." All the 7-colored light in the world gathered once more and surged into the 3 beads. As popping sounds echoed, one of the beads quickly collapsed. The moment it collapsed, it turned into a blurry shadow in the sky. It was impossible to see clearly what the shadow was, but a sword might envelop the world. The shadow lifted its right hand and pointed at Wang Lin. With one finger, all the 7-colored light gathered and a ray of 7-colored sword energy that could pierce the world shot at Wang Lin. Shortly after, another bead collapsed. The earth trembled and a large part of the wall-like mountain range collapsed. A stone giant walked out from the mountains, each step causing the ground to shake. The stone giant was draped in the 7-colored light and charged at Wang Lin. At this moment, the 3rd bead exploded. The 7-colored light gathered like crazy and turned into a giant compass. This compass was ethereal, and it rapidly rotated to create a powerful pressure. The moment he started attacking, he used all his killing aces. He obviously wanted to kill Wang Lin quickly. His right hand formed a seal and pointed to between his eyebrows, then his face turned red and another ray of bloodlight flew out. There was something like a nascent soul inside the bloodlight. It was exactly the same as the thing that attacked the old woman in green. This nascent soul released a fierce scream and charged toward Wang Lin in a blood-red glow. It contained an unspeakable ferociousness on its face. All of this happened in an instant. The moment the trident returned to Wang Lin, Master Ashen Pine's killing move arrived. He was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Shatterer, so his dense origin energy allowed his spells and magic treasures to have shocking power. Wang Lin's expression was calm and his eyes were filled with battle intent. He grabbed the trident and threw it into the sky at the compass. From Wang Lin's point of view, this was the most dangerous item. Shortly after, his right hand formed a seal and pointed forward. The seven-colored sky was covered in a roaring, black wind. A number of black dragons formed, but they didn't scatter. Instead, they all shot toward the blurry, seven-colored figure in the sky. After call the wind came summon the rain. Wang Lin waved his sleeves and thousands of drops of crystal rain appeared. They quickly shot at the immeasurable sword energy Master Ashen Pine had shot out, and a portion of them went after the stone giant. Popping sounds echoed as Wang Lin walked forward and his right hand formed a fist. He threw a punch at the incoming seven-colored sword energy. A thunderous rumble echoed. The seven-colored sword energy trembled and 6 of the colors collapsed. Only the blue light hot out and drilled into Wang Lin's right hand. Wang Lin's body trembled as he felt a crazed aura rush into his body from his arm, causing him to let out a groan. His left hand formed a seal and pointed at the void, then he opened his mouth to allow the celestial sealing stamp to fly out. The moment it appeared, battle souls came out one by one. Master Void, the All-Seer, and Wu Qing all appeared and charged at the ferocious-looking blood-nascent soul. In addition, a large amount of battle souls walked out from the celestial sealing stamp. There were Celestials, All-Heaven cultivators, and Alliance cultivators. This immediately caused a violent aura to envelope the area. This scene caused Master Ashen Pine to suck in a breath of cold air. He thought that he had overestimated Wang Lin, but just the few treasures Wang Lin had shown were enough to terrify ordinary cultivators. A thunderous rumble echoed in the seven-colored world. The trident rushed at the compass in the sky, but when it was 7 inches away, it was stopped by a seven-colored light screen. The 3 dragons on the trident devoured the light screen like crazy and continued to close in. The blurry figure that was also floating in the sky gradually dissipated under the impact of the black dragons formed by Call the Wind. Even farther away, the stone giant was covered in countless layers of ice under the assault of the countless raindrops. Before it could even get close, it turned into a giant ice sculpture. The blood-nascent soul-like thing screamed under assault of the souls of the old monsters. It tried to escape, but it couldn't get out. What was worth Wang Lin's attention was the All-Seer's soul. The moment it appeared, its eyes were filled with confusion. It didn't follow the order of Magic Arsenal to attack but instead stared at the sky. Wang Lin didn't have time to pay attention to the All-Seer's soul. He rushed out and his hand reached at the void. Countless bolts of lightning appeared. It looked like Wang Lin had grabbed lightning. The endless lightning condensed and turned into an ethereal spear. This was the illusion of the god-slaying spear. He mercilessly threw the spear, and it shot at the huge compass in the sky, breaking all obstacles in its path. Wang Lin didn't stop there. He charged forward and his right hand mercilessly pressed down. His huge palm descended from the sky as 2 fingers from his left hand quickly pressed down on the back of his right hand. The origin energy surged from the seven-colored world and rushed into his right hand. A giant illusionary handprint appeared before his right hand and descended on Master Ashen Pine. Master Ashen Pine's eyes were bloodshot and revealed a hint of madness. He bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood. He waved his right hand and his expression became ferocious. 7 nascent souls immediately appeared, and they all let out mournful cries. In the blink of an eye, a lightning mark appeared before Master Ashen Pine. The moment the lightning mark appeared, the entire world darkened. It was as if all the light in the world was absorbed by this lightning mark. Using the blood of 100 origins to exchange for the 7th spirit of the sealed realm, Master Ashen Pine roared as the lightning mark flashed. At this moment, Wang Lin's palm descended on the lightning mark. A thunderous rumble echoed and the palm collapsed. The moment it collapsed, a ray of lightning shot out toward Wang Lin. It was so fast that Wang Lin didn't have time to dodge at all. It landed on his chest. Wang Lin's body trembled and was knocked back several steps. For the first time, ancient god blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth, but his eyes were fierce. His right hand reached at the void and an iron sword appeared. It circled his palm once as if it was locking onto a target and shot at Master Ashen Pine. Master Ashenpine's left hand waved at his storage space and a 7-colored nail appeared. This was exactly the same as the one that had pierced the skeleton with the Tao scripture engraved on its bones. "Die for this old man." Master Ashenpine waved his hand and the 7-colored nail shot at the iron sword. This nail contained an unimaginable pressure. It was actually stronger than pseudo-nirvana void treasures. In an instant, the nail collided with the iron sword. Crackling sounds echoed, and the iron sword cracked down the middle and split in half. The 7-colored nail shattered the iron sword and directly embedded itself into Wang Lin's right shoulder. An intense pain washed through Wang Lin's body, causing him to tremble. At the same time, although the sword was split, the tip of the sword penetrated Master Ashenpine's chest and inserted itself into the ground. Master Ashenpine coughed out blood. He was seriously injured as he turned around and charged at the wall-like mountains. Wang Lin's body trembled violently. The 7-colored nail seemed to be able to piece his origin soul. His eyes became confused and his body rapidly shrank. He was about to turn to the size of an ordinary person. He clenched his teeth as he stared at the escaping Master Ashenpine that was constantly coughing out blood. The war spirit print appeared in his mind and he ferociously pushed his palm forward. The war spirit print appeared, and the world stirred. When it got near Master Ashenpine, he used some unknown spell that caused his body to collapse into 7-colored fog. He was able to escape death as the 7-colored fog wrapped around his origin soul and disappeared over the other side of the mountain. Wang Lin coughed out blood and his body returned to normal. He retrieved all his treasures and didn't even bother looking at the old woman trapped inside the restriction before he quickly left. His face was pale and a large amount of blood was flowing out of his shoulder. His battle against Master Ashenpine had resulted in both of them being seriously injured. The giant compass in the sky slowly moved and chased after Wang Lin. Wang Lin's face was pale without a trace of blood. The blood at the corner of his mouth made a shocking contrast. He put away all his treasures, including the split iron sword, and retreated into the distance. The blood-nascent souls Master Ashenpine had sent out couldn't escape and were captured by Wang Lin's battle souls. His vision was a blurry and the feeling of drowsiness filled his whole body while intense pain came from his right shoulder. He was alternating between passing out and being awake. In his eyes, it looked like there were multiple roads before him. The giant compass moved in the sky. It was locked onto Wang Lin and kept moving with him. As it rapidly rotated, a powerful pressure applied and locked onto the escaping Wang Lin. Wang Lin was very weak, and under this pressure, he almost staggered. Just at this moment, a loud rumble came from the compass, and it rotated even faster. 7-colored light gathered in the compass like crazy, and soon, countless 7-colored runes appeared around the compass. A sense of danger spread in Wang Lin's heart. At this moment of danger, Wang Lin mercilessly bit his tongue to become sober. Just at this moment, the countless runes descended from the compass. The moment the runes fell, Wang Lin clenched his teeth and his left hand reached at the void, grabbing the trident. The runes whistled through the sky and fell like rain. A thunderous rumble echoed, and Wang Lin coughed out blood. Many of the runes landed on Wang Lin's body, leaving deep imprints, and each mark caused Wang Lin's body to tremble. His eyes were filled with madness. This was Wang Lin's character. The more critical the moment, the more dangerous it was, the more calm he was, but with a hint of madness. Calmness and madness weren't contradictory. Calm judgment, but crazy actions. The compass had to be destroyed, or else it would continue to chase Wang Lin and bring him danger. Also, with this thing following him around, Wang Lin would be at the mercy of the two enemies in this place. As Wang Lin's left hand held the trident, the madness in his eyes became even stronger. He knew he didn't have much sober time left. As his injuries grew worse, he could lose his consciousness at any time. He had to break this compass and find place to heal. Time was of the essence. Wang Lin took a deep breath and battle intent filled his eyes. Fire filled his left eye and the red vermilion bird armor appeared around Wang Lin. At the same time, thunder flashed in his right eye and made the area within 10,000 feet of him a thunder lake. The thunder rumbled as the lightning snaked across the earth. Popping sounds came from the earth as lightning traveled along it. The remnants of his ancient god power left his right hand and gathered in the trident in his left arm. At this instant, a thunderous roar that defied the heavens echoed and Wang Lin jumped off the ground. A sea of flames suddenly appeared and a vermilion bird appeared around Wang Lin. It was as if Wang Lin had taken control of all the fire in the world and charged at the compass. The moment he charged out, the thunder rumbled and flew into the air along with Wang Lin. The thunder rose up with Wang Lin and formed a thunder mountain. A mountain made of thunder. Wang Lin was at the peak of the mountain. The thunder mountain grew and eventually condensed outside of Wang Lin's body. It was as if Wang Lin had absorbed the thunder mountain. With the power of thunder and fire, Wang Lin was like a meteor covered in thunder and fire. He held the trident as he charged forward, searching for his own heaven-defying cultivation path. His speed became faster and faster. The moment the countless runes appeared around the compass, he closed in. The sound of him breaking through the sky became louder and louder until it was an earth-shattering roar. 9 Mysterious Transformation. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he unexpectedly split into 9 parts and then fused back into one. An aura far more powerful than before descended on Wang Lin's body in this 7-colored realm. The cry of the vermilion bird echoed, and Wang Lin's figure was dazzling as he charged at the compass. He moved faster than before and smashed into the compass. A thunderous rumble echoed like crazy. The rotating compass trembled and began to collapse. At first it was just cracks, but soon the cracks spread until it was covered in cracks. Then, with a bang, it was torn apart. As the countless fragments scattered, a red figure flew out from the collapsed compass. It didn't even look back before it disappeared over the horizon. Although this figure had dissipated, the sound of the compass collapsing echoed across the entire 7-colored realm. On the outer region, a large amount of fog beasts rapidly condensed and looked at the direction where this earth-shattering sound had come from. The numerous lost ones wandering around all stopped. They raised their heads and looked at the direction of the sound with confused expressions. The boy named Duanmu was one of them. There was a hidden cave in a mountain on the outer region of the 7-colored realm. There was a burly man sitting inside the cave. His face was pale and there was still blood scattered over his clothes. His eyes suddenly opened and the rumble and fluctuations he felt made him gasp. He was Chen Tianjun. The old woman was trapped inside the restriction outside the valley and couldn't escape in a short period of time. She had to withstand the constant attacks of the restrictions and her face was pale, but her eyes were filled with unwillingness. Her hands kept forming seals and sending out restrictions to resist, but the power of the restrictions here was far beyond her imagination. The life and death restriction had completely fused with the annihilation restriction, so she could no longer control it. She was constantly being attacked and her injuries were getting worse as time went by. The moment the heaven-shaking rumble came, the old woman suddenly looked up, bewildered and uncertain. This rumble echoed across the 7-colored realm and passed through the wall-like mountain range. It traveled through the fog, causing the fog to rumble. The large amount of enlightened ones stopped chanting for the first time and looked over in a daze. Inside the fog, between the eyebrows of the huge statue with a lightning mark on its forehead, there was a cloud of 7-colored fog. Master Ashen Pine's weakened origin soul was sitting here healing. The moment that rumble arrived, he suddenly looked up and was filled with shock. This time he was truly shocked. He had already predicted that Wang Lin would be powerful, but he had never thought Wang Lin would be able to match him and cause them both to become seriously injured. Thinking back to all the treasures he had used, he felt his heart bleed, especially those 3 beads. Losing them really stung his heart, and the crystal sword as well. However, compared to the 7-colored nail, these things were truly insignificant. Thinking about the 7-colored nail, Master Ashen Pine felt like his origin soul was about to collapse. That nail was the most powerful treasure he had, and it was his hidden ace. However, even after he took it out, he couldn't kill that cultivator named Lu. He had even lost his own body and almost died. The reason he escaped, aside from him being too weak to keep fighting, was that he was sure Wang Lin would die. Being that seriously injured meant that Wang Lin couldn't possibly escape the compass spell formed by the bead. Once Wang Lin died, he could control the compass to bring the body back and absorb the origin soul. After his injuries recovered, he could easily obtain everything. However, the roar and the sensation of his connection to it being cut off shocked Master Ashen Pine, and he began to ponder. Even with injuries that severe, he was still able to break the spell on the compass. For the first time, Master Ashen Pine felt fearful of Wang Lin. The mountain where Master Ashen Pine was at was not the true center of the seven-colored realm like he had said. Even deeper, at the edge of the true center of the seven-colored realm, there was a valley submerged in fog. Master Cloud Soul was sitting there with a pale face, and he didn't dare to move an inch. Wang Lin's divine sense became blurry as he quickly moved forward. However, he clenched his teeth to keep a trace of sanity. His vision gradually dimmed as he rushed into a deserted valley and into a deserted cave. He only had time to open his storage space to allow the woman in silver and Shu Lugua to come out before he fell on the ground and passed out. Shu Lugua completed had his task when Wang Lin was killing noble money and was put away by Wang Lin. Now that he had come, he was about to boast, but he immediately saw that Wang Lin's eyes were closed and that his face was ashen gray. His eyes couldn't help but turn. However, just at this moment, a cold snort appeared. Shu Ligua's body trembled and he immediately revealed a look of flattery. He already knew how powerful this silver female corpse was, so he wouldn't dare to offend her. "Guard," the woman in silver said in a cold voice, then she sat down next to Wang Lin. When she looked at Wang Lin, there was a hint of confusion and tenderness in her eyes. Shu Ligua quickly agreed. After he noticed that the woman in silver was no longer paying attention to him and was only looking at the fiend, he began to pretend like he was guarding. However, he was secretly complaining in his heart. "What's good-looking about that fiend? It is your Grandpa Shu who is suave, graceful, handsome, and beautiful. Alas, I'm just too eye-catching, and I'm completely helpless about it." Shu Liuo was sighing in his heart and revealed a very regretful expression. The woman in silver withdrew her gaze after a long time, and the confusion in her eyes became even stronger. She vaguely seemed to remember something, but it was very vague. She lifted her jade-like hand and waved it according to her fuzzy memories. There was a faint flash of a ghostly light and a restriction landed on the entrance of the cave. If Wang Lin was awake and saw this, his eyes would narrow. This restriction was the life and death restriction. This technique was far above what the old woman had made, extremely skillful. Wang Lin wasn't in a coma for too long. After a few hours, he opened his eyes, and when he saw the entrance, he was startled. He looked at the woman in silver but didn't ask. Instead, he sat down and began to cultivate. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 3 days went by. During these 3 days, the outside world was calm without the slightest fluctuation. It was as if all the cultivators in the seven-colored realm were recovering as much as possible. After 3 days, not only did Wang Lin's complexion not recover, he became even more pale. There was a faint, seven-colored glow coming from his right shoulder. The wound had healed, but the nail was still impaled in his bone. The seven-colored nail made his bones constantly shatter, but due to his powerful ancient god vitality, the shattered bone was quickly recovering. This repeated endlessly and brought Wang Lin intense pain. What was even more serious was that not only was the seven-colored nail embedded into his bones, it also felt like it had penetrated into Wang Lin's origin soul. His origin soul was sluggish and weak. If that was it, it wouldn't have been an issue, but Wang Lin was shocked to find that the seven-colored nail was constantly draining his vitality. It was as if it wouldn't stop until it had drained all his vitality. What kind of treasure is this to have the power to even break the pseudo-Nirvana Void Sword in half? Wang Lin's heart ached. The iron sword had been with him for many years and had been extremely useful, but now it was broken. There were also the beads that Master Ashen Pine threw out. Each of them could summon a spell in this seven-colored world. They are very strange. Even the heavenly fate finger appeared from one. As Wang Lin endured the pain, he began to ponder. He thought about when the All-Seer's battle soul appeared and looked at the sky in confusion. This place must be connected to the All-Seer. After pondering a bit, there was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. However, Master Ashen Pine is also seriously injured. His body collapsed under the war spirit print and only his origin soul escaped. He was also seriously injured by the iron sword and has consumed a lot of his treasures. I must recover as soon as possible, and the next time we meet, he will undoubtedly die. There is also that old woman in green who was trapped inside the restriction. Even though she is proficient in the life and death restriction, with my annihilation restriction mixed in, it won't be simple for her to come out. Even if she breaks out by force, she will be seriously injured. There is also Master Cloud Soul. When he was teleported here, he was teleported to a random location, but I don't know where. However, this place is filled with danger, and being randomly transported here is very dangerous. It is likely he can't even fend for himself right now. These three were all done in by me, but that Chen Tianjun left early. Although we felt his spells dissipate before, it is difficult to prove he is dead. Everyone here was scheming against each other, and no one wanted the others to leave here with the treasure. This was what they called even though a person doesn't want to harm a tiger would still want to harm the person. If you continue to be passive, you will only end up being schemed against. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He had long since seen through all of this. This was why he acted first and forced Master Cloud Soul to teleport to another location. Then he trapped the old woman in the restriction so he could have a battle against Master Ashen Pine. While pondering, intense pain came from his right shoulder and sweat came from his forehead. He revealed a decisive gaze and swiped his left hand over his right shoulder. A wound immediately appeared and continued to expand until it revealed the seven-colored nail embedded in his bones. In an instant, the seven-colored light covered the entire cave. Shu Ligua licked his lips as he looked at Wang Lin and thought, the fiend is indeed a fiend. Not only is he ruthless to others, he's also ruthless to himself. After taking a deep breath, Wang Lin clenched his teeth, reached for the seven-colored nail, and mercilessly pulled with a roar. Intense pain came over his body. Wang Lin let out a muffled groan and sweat soaked his clothes. His body trembled and he was unable to pull it out. This nail seemed to have merged with his bone. It was impossible to tell it wasn't part of it. What was even more strange was that the seven-colored light seemed to have entered his bone. The bone of his right shoulder seemed to have become seven-colored. Wang Lin's face was pale. The moment the seven-colored light entered his body, his mind went blank. There was a hint of him going mad. Although this feeling disappeared in just a moment, it made Wang Lin gasp. At that moment, the madness was completely out of his control. It was as if his mind had fallen down many layers of hell and was sealed inside. He was no longer himself. Looking at his right shoulder, the seven-colored nail had shrunk by half. Wang Lin stared at the seven-colored nail. He had a feeling that if the nail disappeared completely, his bones would turn completely seven-colored. At that time, the madness wouldn't just be for a moment, but permanent. What kind of magic treasure is this? The wound on Wang Lin's right shoulder quickly healed and disappeared, covering up the seven-colored nail. After silently looked at the healing wound, Wang Lin closed his eyes and his origin soul began to struggle. Since he couldn't take it out using external force, he was going to try using his origin energy and ancient god power to force it out. Time passed and another 3 days went by. Wang Lin opened his eyes. With his cultivation level, he could only suppress it. He couldn't force out the seven-colored light, much less the nail. If I can only suppress it, then it is not the end. Now I just need help. If there are enough helpers, I should be able to force the seven colors and the nail out. Wang Lin silently looked at the jade bottle. This was Master Ashen Pine's ultimate goal for coming to the seven-colored realm. Holding the bottle, Wang Lin's divine sense spread out. The bottle was half filled with black liquid. It looked like blood but didn't give off the smell of blood. Once I obtain Master Ashen Pine's origin soul, I'll know exactly what this is. If I'm not mistaken, this should be related to helping him increase his cultivation level. He put the jade bottle in his clothes, stood up, and looked at the life and death restriction at the entrance of the cave. Then he looked at the woman in silver. You know the life and death restriction? The woman in silver pondered. After a long time, she whispered, There are some memories. Open the restriction. Wang Lin nodded slightly. The woman in silver walked next to the entrance of the cave and her jade-like hand gently slapped it. The restriction slowly dissipated and not a trace of it remained. Wang Lin didn't ask and waved his sleeves. Shu Ligua was about to speak, but before he could open his mouth, he was put into the storage space along with the woman in silver. After leaving the cave, Wang Lin took a deep breath as he endured the pain in his right shoulder and rushed out. He wasn't going to the depths of the seven-colored realm, but the outer mountain range beyond the valley. That place was filled with mountain peaks with fierce fog beasts. These fierce beasts were the helpers Wang Lin had thought of. He quickly flew through many valleys as he traveled along the path he came, heading toward the outer region of the seven-colored realm. Soon, he saw the tunnel leading to outside and looked up. His eyes lit up as he stared at the dense fog at the peak. He carefully went over the plan in his head and then revealed a decisive gaze. Although this trip was dangerous, if it could force out the seven-colored nail, it would all be worth it. Let's see how strong my ancient god body is. Wang Lin's body turned into a ray of light and shot at the peak of the mountain. Before he got close, a roar came from the fog and a giant, 1,000-foot-tall eagle rushed out from the fog. It roared as it shot at Wang Lin, and the fog followed it. It was too fast and instantly closed in. The eagle charged and rammed into Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't dodge, he used his body to resist it instead. The person and eagle quickly closed in and collided with each other. There was a thunderous rumble and Wang Lin took several steps back. He didn't even try to reduce the impact, and all the force rushed into his right shoulder. This caused the seven-colored glow from his right shoulder to intensify until it penetrated his skin. From away, it looked like Wang Lin was covered in seven-colored light. The eagle beast let out an angry roar and was also knocked back. It circled once in the sky and rushed at Wang Lin once more. Wang Lin's mind trembled, but he didn't stop. He charged at the fog once more. At this moment, as the roar echoed, another eagle rushed out from the fog. This one was also 1,000 feet tall, and the two eagles formed two rays of black light that shot at Wang Lin. Popping sounds echoed and Wang Lin felt like countless mountains were smashing into him. His face became even more pale and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth, but his eyes became brighter. These two fierce beasts were both rank 12, and their impact was extremely powerful. However, Wang Lin passed all the impact to his right shoulder. Even if his body got seriously injured, he was going to force the seven-colored light out no matter what. Half his body was covered in seven-colored light. With Wang Lin's method, it was as if the two eagle beasts were helping him force the seven-colored light out. As the seven-colored light flashed, it gathered toward his right shoulder. There was a flash of black light as the two eagle beasts continued to attack Wang Lin's body. His injuries became worse and blood flew out from his mouth, but his face was filled with ecstasy. As long as the root wasn't injured, an ancient god body could immediately recover. Even if he were to sustain serious injuries, Wang Lin wouldn't care as long as he could force the seven-colored nail out. He rushed toward the top of the mountain. At this moment, Wang Lin's body had reached its limit. The seven-colored light on his right shoulder had all condensed back into the seven-colored nail. Under these continuous blows, the nail seemed to have loosened and was showing signs of being pushed out. Just at this moment, another roar came from the top of the mountain and a third eagle flew out. It turned into a ray of light and mercilessly slammed into Wang Lin's chest. Wang Lin's body trembled, and the powerful impact caused his already injured body feel like it was going to collapse, but his eyes were filled with joy. He let out a laugh as his right shoulder burst open and blood flew everywhere. The seven-colored nail was inside that blood. Next episode 304. Wang Lin grabbed the seven-colored nail and rapidly retreated with the help of the impact. He fell to the bottom of the mountain. The three eagle beasts roared as they chase. They were like three rays of black light. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to rush into the tunnel. He endured the intense pain from his body and charged ahead. The eagle beasts' roars echoed in Wang Lin's ears, but they didn't enter the tunnel. They circled outside the tunnel with ferocious gazes. After a long time, they slowly returned to the top of the mountain and turned into fog once more. Wang Lin found a hidden place in the tunnel and sat down. After placing a large amount of restrictions, he took out pills. He swallowed them and then began to cultivate. His body had been seriously injured, but the ancient god body not only had power, it also unimaginable recovery. After several hours, his injuries were healing. However, Wang Lin didn't leave. He sat there and continued to cycle the ancient god energy to every part of the body. While he was healing, his origin energy was rapidly moving through his body. Without the seven-colored nail, there was nothing stopping Wang Lin from recovering. Time quickly passed, and in the blink of an eye, 2 more days went by. Wang Lin opened his eyes, and they shined like lightning in the dark tunnel. He stood up and moved his body. All his injuries had almost healed. His origin soul was no longer weakened, and the origin energy in his body had all recovered over the past 2 days of cultivating. He had reached his peak once more. Even if Master Ashen Pine wasn't injured, he could battle Master Ashen Pine again. In a flash, Wang Lin charged out through the passage and appeared in the valley. He took a deep breath and thought of the dangers he had just faced. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the seven-colored nail appeared in his palm. He still had lingering fear towards this nail. He was lucky that he had the body of an ancient god, which prevented the nail from making his bone become seven-colored instantly. This helped delay the madness, or else the consequences would have been unimaginable. It was also thanks to his ancient god body that he could suffer serious injuries to borrow outside force to force the nail out. If it was any other cultivator, they wouldn't be able to do this. Even if they were late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators, without the body of an ancient god, they would still die to this seven-colored nail. This item is definitely not ordinary. Not only did it break the iron sword, it also pierced my body. I fear if not for the iron sword blocking it a bit, it would have directly penetrated my bones and turned them into seven-colored light in an instant. Wang Lin stared at the seven-colored nail in his hand. His divine sense spread out and he left his own mark on it. Although I lost the iron sword, I have obtained this even more aggressive seven-colored nail. This will become my ace in the future. With this, even late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators will die. While pondering, Wang Lin's right hand reached at the void, took out Pangdetsai's ring, and placed it on his left thumb. The defense of this treasure was excellent, and it could be considered good protection here. Then he took out something else. It was the short sword that was stabbed into the beast bone in that cave. Unfortunately, he couldn't open the seal on it right now, so he put it away after looking at it. The last thing he took out was the little nascent soul that belonged to Master Ashen Pine. It had become weak, but it still had a ferocious expression and roared at Wang Lin. This thing is interesting. Wang Lin spat out a mouthful of origin energy and surrounded it with it. Then he swallowed it and left it to refine in his origin soul. This thing seemed like a nascent soul but also like a treasure. It was really strange. Although Wang Lin didn't know where it came from, it didn't hinder him from refining it. He was going to refine it with his origin soul and wipe off Master Ashen Pine's mark. Then it would belong to Wang Lin, and he could study it at that time. Although both Master Ashen Pine and I ended up seriously injured and I suffered heavy losses, I also gained a lot. The jade bottle with the black liquid, the seven-colored nail, the blood nascent soul, and the crystal sword. Wang Lin waved his hand and the trident appeared in his grasp. He shook it and a small, crystal sword flew out. When he grabbed the sword, the aura of an pseudo-nirvana void treasure appeared. Although it couldn't match the iron sword, its power wasn't ordinary. After sorting his treasures, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. From all the treasures Master Ashen Pine had, it wasn't difficult for Wang Lin to guess that this seven-colored realm had a lot of treasures. Most of Master Ashen Pine's treasures must have come from here, especially those beads that could summon spells. This is a treasure trove. If Master Ashen Pine can obtain treasures, so can I. The battle in the future will depend on who can obtain the stronger treasures and pills to increase our cultivation levels. Wang Lin licked his lips and charged into the valley ahead. This first goal was Sima Mo's cave from Pangdetsai's memories. In Pangdetsai's memories, after they found Sima Mo's cave, they didn't open it completely and instead just opened a part of it. This time they were prepared to obtain the soul beasts and refine them into pills. Once their cultivation levels increased, they were going to break open Sima Mo's cave completely. A cave that hasn't been completely opened and is still intact. Wang Lin quickly moved based on Pangdetsai's memories. He quickly moved through the valley, but he didn't trigger a single restriction. This place was extremely vast, and the valley was filled with restrictions. Most of the restrictions had collapsed, and even if the valley had any caves, they were empty. After one day, Wang Lin stopped outside a valley. This valley was very ordinary, but when he closed his eyes, he felt a gloomy intent enter his mind. The valley was filled with weeds and there were signs of restrictions being destroyed. This was the location of Sima Mo's cave from Pangditsai's memories. After carefully observing this place, Wang Lin walked forward. When he got near the entrance to the valley, he stopped and deduction filled his eyes. A moment later, his right hand formed a seal and shot out a restriction ahead. In an instant, the valley trembled as if a picture was torn apart before Wang Lin and blown away. Things changed before him. The originally ordinary-looking valley beam purple and the weeds on the ground were replaced by black soil. Even the entrance was different. A black light prevented people from moving forward. There were 2 layers of restrictions on this valley. The first layer was an illusion. No matter how hard one tried, they would ultimately never be able to enter the cave inside. What Pangditsai and company were cracking was the first layer. However, in Wang Lin's eyes, with his understanding of restrictions, he immediately saw through it. He raised his hand to make the second layer appear and revealed the true appearance of this cave. Staring at the black light, Wang Lin revealed a wry smile. This black light was the same as the one protecting the place where Master Ashen Pine went to get the bottle. Both were time restrictions. He placed his right hand on the light and pondered for a bit. With his understanding of restrictions, he could calculate that this restriction was nearly 20,000 years old. Although it couldn't compare to the one around the jade bottle, it would still be difficult to crack unless he was willing to sacrifice treasures and open it by force. Looking at the black light, Wang Lin began to ponder. Shortly after, his eyes lit up and his right hand moved. A jade immediately appeared in his hand. This was the jade he got on the wild continent that belonged to Sima Mo. I obtained Sima Mo's relics on the wild continent, and here I see Sima Mo's cave. Interesting, Wang Lin's expression didn't reveal joy or anger. Holding the jade, he slowly pushed it toward the black light. At this moment, the light violently fluctuated and countless ripples appeared on it. Eventually, the light gathered toward the jade in Wang Lin's hand. Then, with a bang, the black light that couldn't be opened began to dissipate with the jade as the center, and a passage opened up. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he pondered a bit. He then stepped into the opening, and after he entered, the crack closed. Then the ripples dissipated and everything returned to normal. An illusion appeared over it once more. The purple valley returned to normal and the black soil once again was covered in weeds. Everything returned back to how it was before Wang Lin arrived. After passing through the black light, what appeared before Wang Lin was a green, grassy valley. This valley wasn't big, only about 1,000 feet wide. There were 9 caves on the mountains surrounding the valley, and each one of them was sealed with a rock. There was a skeleton in the meadow in the valley. It was sitting on the ground, leaning against the wall of the valley in front of Wang Lin. Its head was lowered and its right forefinger was pointing at the ground. There were 3 jades placed before his body. Wang Lin silently looked at the skeleton and his pupils shrank. The skeleton's bones gave off a faint, 7-colored light glow. He slowly walked up to the skeleton before squatting down and carefully examining it. Then he picked up the first jade and his divine sense entered it. I didn't think I'd return here. Back then, my uncle Master and I and many of my fellow sect members found that mysterious spatial crack according to his request. This crack was very strange, but it was filled with 7-colored light. It was very beautiful. Junior sister was very fond of this 7-colored, and I promised her I'd take the 7-color light back for her. We entered the crack and entered this horrible nightmare. It was just that back then, I didn't foresee any of this. We entered the deepest part of this place and found a terrifying existence. This secret could shock the entire cultivation world. Not just my cloud sea, but also all heaven, summoned river, and brilliant void. However, it was too late. We destroyed our hope with our own hands. We are sinners. Teacher kicked us out of the sect. I know he had no other choice. I left with my sect members and became lost in the fog of the cloud sea. Looking at the fog, I felt fear, because of that secret. I didn't expect that immeasurable calamity would return in our moment of despair. We escaped once only to return here. Perhaps I won't be able to leave this place again. Is this fair? I believe in fate, and I gave into fate. Wang Lin held the jade and his divine sense carefully swept past it. It has been 3 years. Second brother is dead and third brother is also dead. They became lost ones and wandered here. I saw them 4 days ago, but they no longer recognize me and just walked past me. I can't let things continue, I must find a way. This is the 6th year since I came here, and I found a jade. It contains a restriction called time restriction. I must learn it. Uncle Master left. He went into the depths of this place. He told me a voice had called him. This is the 11th year since I came here. I managed to grasp a bit of the time restriction. How much time has passed? It must have been at least 30 years. The enlightened ones attacked once more, and I clearly saw Uncle Master among them. They took away 5th brother and 6th brother. I have finally mastered the time restriction. I and the remnants of my sect set a giant time restriction in an valley. 9th brother sacrificed his life to reinforce the time of this restriction. Before he died, he made me promise him that I would take his remains back to the heaven-breaking sect. I promised, but can I do it? The time restriction has protected the valley, and the valley has become my home. However, I didn't find the warmth of home. I only saw familiar faces gradually become unfamiliar. I can't continue like this. I must find a way. I'm going to save them. Wang Lin silently pondered as he looked at the skeleton before him. The contents of the jade ended. He looked at the second jade and picked it up. His divine sense entered it. It has been 100 years. There is no night or day, so I can't accurately calculate the time here. However, by judging the power of the time restriction, it should have been 100 years. Just why do I feel like 1,000 years have passed? 13th brother destroyed his own body and died. He couldn't bear this kind of existence any longer. The people around me have become lost ones or enlightened ones. Only me, 16th brother, and 4th uncle remain. I know we are sinners, and perhaps this is our punishment. However, I'm unwilling to yield. I won't yield. Today is a day I will never forget. It has been more than 130 years since I came here, and this was the first time the defying ones appeared. 4th uncle turned into a defying one. They're all gone. Only 16th brother and I remain. However, I thought of a method to save them. I must try, even if it means death. I said goodbye to 16th brother and left the valley. I brought back 2nd brother and 3rd brother, along with everyone else that became lost ones. I entered the depths of the mountain and found 5th brother and 6th brother, who became enlightened ones, and brought them back. I then went into the depths of this place. I was very familiar with the path there. I found 2nd uncle and brought him back. The jade ended here. Wang Lin stared at the jade as he put it down. He pondered about the contents for a long time and then picked up the 3rd jade. I have already been here for more than 300 years and have gone to all the places I can go. I found a bead that could seal the spells of defying ones. I don't know what they are exactly, but in order to save 4th uncle, I searched a majority of the places and found a few more beads. That was the 4th time I went into the depths of this place. I knew that it was here that 4th uncle faced those powerful defying ones. I used the beads to seal all their spells. I searched for a few years before I finally found 4th uncle. It's just. I didn't expect him to be there, so I failed. A 7-colored nail pierced into my body. This nail was very strange, it immediately melted inside my body. I finally escaped and returned to the valley in a blur. My consciousness gradually faded and an insane idea kept appearing in my mind. This insane idea wanted me to kill all living creatures I could see. It's just that the only other living thing here besides me was 16th brother. I drove 16th brother out of the valley. I gave my identity token and beast bone to him. I made him leave the valley and told him to come back in 10 years. 16th brother left. I sat in the valley, looking up at the 7-colored sky, waiting for the final madness to come. 2nd brother, 3rd brother, and all my fellow sect members, If any of you awaken and see my jades, you will know what happened in those hundreds of years. Also, I have collected a lot of those strange beads. I vaguely found some clues about them. These stone beads are not natural, they were refined by someone. There was no difference between their size, weight, or surface. It is as if someone came here and used a special spell to make these beads a long time ago. My consciousness became blurred, but I had a feeling something was pulling at my origin soul. I don't know why, but at that moment, my consciousness became clear and a crazy idea emerged in my head. Maybe I should do it. If I succeed, I won't go crazy. I will be reborn. My consciousness seemed to leave my body and extended into the starry sky. I saw a person. A middle-aged man in a black robe with a round mark between his eyebrows. He said that his name was Sovereign. Wang Lin's face turned pale and he sucked in a breath of cold air. He subconsciously took a few steps back and stared at the jade in his hand and the skeleton. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Sovereign. Wang Lin wasn't unfamiliar with this name. In Qing Lin's cave, he learned that outside the sealed realm, there was a powerful existence called the Sovereign. However, at that moment, the Sovereign was a faraway existence, a powerhouse from Qing Lin's era. A long time had passed since then. However, Wang Lin didn't expect to find a jade with information about the Sovereign in the Cloud Sea Star system, in this seven-colored world, in this valley. Wang Lin closed his eyes and couldn't help but think back to when Qing Shui was battling the Moongazer serpent. He had collapsed the void, resulting in those two mysterious cultivators showing up. Those two people were residents of the outer realm. If not for the heaven-defying bead appearing, he would have been captured by them. Back when the old man saw the heaven-defying bead, he called me the Sovereign of the sealed realm. Wang Lin opened his eyes and let out a deep breath. His mind was like the raging sea after learning of the information inside the jade. He couldn't calm down for a long time. This seven-colored realm is related to the All-Seer and also the Sovereign. Especially these seven-colored nails that can make one go crazy and kill all living things. Senior brother Qing Shui said that before the celestial realm collapsed, he was in closed-door cultivation when he suddenly went mad. Even he himself doesn't know why. All of this was related to going mad. Also, the old Vermilion Bird Divine Emperor said that after senior brother Qing Shui went to the Cultivation Alliance, he went crazy again. What kind of secret is behind all of this? It must be related to that Sovereign. All-Seer, Qing Shui, Sima Mo, Sovereign, Wang Lin silently pondered. After a long time, he let out a sigh and looked at Sima Mo's skeleton with a complicated expression. There was no trace of destruction around Sima Mo, meaning he didn't go crazy in the end. Since he didn't go crazy, then that idea related to the Sovereign had succeeded. I didn't think this would be the spatial crack that the heaven-breaking sect found back then. It is also where the beast bone pill recipe appeared. However, how did the beast bone and jade leave this place? Could it be that the 16th brother somehow left this place, causing the jade and beast bone to appear in the Cloud Sea once more? Then there is the person that was mentioned in the jade. Who is he? According to Sima Mo, the heaven-breaking sect didn't know of this place back then. They came here because of that person's words. And hundreds of years later, Sima Mo unexpectedly saw that mysterious person again. Wang Lin rubbed his temples. The more he learned, the more confused he became. He raised his head and looked at the 9 caves sealed by rocks. Wang Lin arrived next to the first cave and looked at the rock. His eyes lit up and looked at it for a very long time before he placed his right hand on it. His origin energy gently entered the rock. The rock made a rumbling sound as it was moved to the side. The moment the cave was open, the smell, time and decay flew out. This cave was very small, only 100 feet wide. There was a grey light, and 10 beads the size of a baby's fist floated inside the light. Every single bead contained a faint rune and was flashing. However, they were giving off a grey light that was hard to see. If you weren't careful, it was easy to miss. After seeing the beads, Wang Lin's mind trembled. He immediately recognized them as what Master Ashen Pine had used to summon the spells of the Defying Ones. The contents of the jades are indeed true. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as his right hand reached out and one of the beads flew into his grasp. His divine sense spread out and he carefully observed it. Wang Lin's expression changed greatly. It was as if countless bolts of thunder had exploded in his mind. When Master Ashen Pine took out the beads, he was very fast and it was inconvenient for Wang Lin to try to get a closer look, because it would distract him from the battle. Wang Lin had only taken a glance and didn't get a closer look, but now he could clearly examine them. Heaven-defying bead. 1. I previous translated the name to Supreme but found Sovereign much better fit after talking with people. Wang Lin's origin soul trembled as he stared at the bead in his hand. The heaven-defying bead had accompanied him almost all his life, so he couldn't be wrong. Regardless of the size, weight, and even aura, this was exactly the same as the heaven-defying bead. The only difference was that the bead didn't have the 5 elements pattern, only a faint, blurred pattern. I have collected a lot of those strange beads. These stone beads are not natural, they were refined by someone. There was no difference between their size, weight, or surface. It is as if someone came here and used a special spell to make these beads a long time ago. The information inside the jade echoed in Wang Lin's mind. His rough breathing gradually calmed down. These beads were made from trying to imitating the heaven-defying bead. Someone was here trying to produce the heaven-defying bead a long time ago. After a long time, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. This person must have seen the heaven-defying bead or even had it in his possession to be able to make something so similar. Wang Lin touched the spot between his eyebrows and his eyes lit up. It must take great courage to want to refine the heaven-defying bead. Could this person also be the Sovereign? Wang Lin's expression was gloomy. He had a feeling that he and the Sovereign from the Outer Realm would cross paths in the near future. Perhaps. The people of the Outer Realm already know of my existence. After all, that old man from the Outer Realm didn't die. A chill crept up in Wang Lin's heart. After pondering for a long time, Wang Lin waved his sleeves and collected all 10 beads. He checked them and felt the fluctuations of a spell within each one. It seemed they all contained a spell inside. Their beads are all failures, or else they wouldn't be randomly discarded here. For some reason, these failed beads conceal spells. Wang Lin pondered as he left his own mark on the beads and put them in his storage space. His gaze swept through the first cave. After finding nothing more, he walked out. Entering and exiting the cave made Wang Lin feel a mountain of pressure descend on him, and his expression became extremely gloomy. In particular, he thought of his previous battle with Master Ashen Pine. The spell he had used to summon the 7th spirit of the realm was very similar to the spell the outsiders used. What is the identity of this Master Ashen Pine? Wang Lin walked away from the cave and looked up at the 7-colored sky outside. He remembered that back in the void, where he first encountered the people from the Outer Realm, there was also 7-colored light coming from the Outer Realm. The more he came in contact with and understood this place, the more confused he felt about it. He silently withdrew his gaze and arrived at the 2nd cave. He waves his sleeve, causing the rock to move, and exposed the inside of the cave. A giant pill furnace occupied more than half of the room, and it was surrounded by a large amount of herbs. However, they were mostly dried out, and there were storage bags laying around. It had been a very long time. The ground was covered in dust, and if you wiped the pill furnace, you would leave a mark in the dust. Opening the bags one by one, Wang Lin was moved. These bags were all filled with herbs, and the amount was unimaginable. After exiting the cave, Wang Lin walked toward the 3rd cave. There were restrictions left on the door blocking the 3rd cave, but they weren't a time restriction. After carefully examining them for a long time, Wang Lin's hands formed a seal and restrictions fell on the rock. Popping sounds echoed and the rock slowly moved to the side. In the 3rd cave, there was a circular formation, and there were origin crystals on the edges that were keeping the formation active. There were 3 bottles floating in the formation. They seemed to be getting nourished by the origin crystals. Although the formation was still active, a lot of the origin crystals had been dried since a long time ago. There was barely enough to keep the formation active. After looking at the 3 bottles, Wang Lin walked forward and looked at the formation. He didn't act recklessly. This formation contained a hint of the time restriction. Although it was faint, it was enough to increase the power of this formation. More importantly, Wang Lin saw through the formation. The effect of the formation was to keep the pills at the moment of completion so they wouldn't be affected by the passage of time and to protect them. If they were opened by force, the pills inside would be immediately destroyed. Frowning, Wang Lin sat down. He hadn't even checked the rest of the cave when deduction shined in his eyes. The light in his eyes became bright and he lifted his hand to reach at the void. A piece of origin crystal flew out from his storage space. Holding the origin crystal, Wang Lin squeezed it and it collapsed. When the origin energy surged out, Wang Lin's hands formed a seal and he took full control of the origin energy. He then pointed at the edge of the formation and the origin energy surged into the ground. As Wang Lin waved his hand in the air, the origin energy formed a diamond formation on the ground. Then he waved his right hand, causing a thin line to extend from the diamond formation and connect with the formation inside the cave. After doing all of this, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his hand quickly reached into the formation and tried to grab the 3 bottles. Just at this instant, the formation gave off a powerful light and lit up the whole room. A destructive aura appeared and was about to charge at the bottles. However, at this moment, the destructive aura paused. The powerful light seemed to be guided into the diamond formation by the thin line. During this pause, Wang Lin grabbed the 3 bottles and withdrew his hand. He retreated and left the cave in the blink of an eye. He appeared on the grass and sat down. As Wang Lin looked at the 3 bottles, his heart pounded. He had taken a big risk just then. If he had made the slightest mistake, the 3 bottles would have shattered. The pills inside would have been destroyed too. These pills were left here by Sima Mo and his sect. Being stored like this means they must be very valuable. Wang Lin licked his lips and opened the first bottle. A pill fragrance came from inside the bottle, and there were 3 red pills inside. A fierce fluctuation of beast soul came from them and filled the area. Even Wang Lin's origin soul was attracted. He pulled out 1 pill and held it between his fingers. He carefully examined it. Rank 11 pill. Wang Lin vaguely identified it. He pondered a bit before picking up the second bottle. The moment he opened the bottle, a large amount of fog came out. The fog was divided into 2 parts, black and white. They eventually split and floated into the air. There was a pill inside each of the 2 clouds of fog. A fog soul pill refined from a rank 12 fog beast. Wang Lin's eyes revealed ecstasy. He vaguely recognized the rank 11 pills, but this was an extremely rare pill refined from rank 12 fog beasts. These were very rare in the Cloud Sea, and they had a distinct characteristic that could be easily recognized. The reason the fog pill was so rare was because very few people were willing to give up the long-term benefits of a fog beast and use the fog beast they had captured to refine pills. Wang Lin licked his lips and his gaze fell on the last bottle. When his divine sense swept this bottle, he couldn't find any clues. After pondering a bit, he slowly pulled the cork from the bottle. The moment a small opening appeared, an unimaginable fluctuation rushed out like crazy. A fierce roar that couldn't be heard but was clearly felt by one's origin soul echoed. This roar was far stronger than a rank 12 beast and was earth-shattering. Wang Lin's body trembled and he didn't hesitate to reseal the bottle. All of this happened in a flash. After sealing the bottle, Wang Lin's face was pale. He cultivated for a moment and then looked at the bottle with a serious expression. Rank 13 pill. Wang Lin took a deep breath and carefully put away 2 of the bottles, leaving behind the first bottle. He picked it up and walked toward the cave with the furnace. Only after reaching the mid-stage of Nirvana Shatterer could one devour a rank 11 pill, or else their origin soul couldn't combat the fierce beast soul. The result would only be having one's origin soul devoured by the beast soul. This was something every cultivator in the Cloud Sea knew. Although pills could help increase your cultivation level, you had to be extremely cautious. Wang Lin's actual cultivation level, ignoring his ancient god body, was only early-stage Nirvana Cleanser. He couldn't devour a rank 11 pill directly, so he needed to refine it again. In the cave with the pill furnace, Wang Lin pondered a bit and fire flashed in his left eye. Fire immediately appeared and rushed into the pill furnace. The furnace trembled and the markings on it slowly activated. Taking out a rank 11 pill, Wang Lin placed it inside the pill furnace. His right hand patted the void, causing the fire inside the furnace to surge and refine the pill. Two-time refining was an alchemy method that all Cloud Sea cultivators had to learn. This was a method of refining a higher-level pill to split its power. This method had a great relationship with the furnace. The better the furnace, the less effectiveness was lost. While Wang Lin was refining the pill, deep within the seven-colored realm, far beyond where Master Ashen Pine was, there was a place covered in fog that made it impossible to see anything. There was an altar here shrouded in fog. At this moment, a bright light flashed from the altar. The light penetrated the surrounding fog and pushed it back, revealing an empty area. A large crack silently appeared above the altar. Countless lightning bolts appeared along the edges of the crack, tearing it wider, and then 3 people walked out. These people's clothes were clearly different from what the people of the Cloud Sea wore. What was even more bizarre was that they all had a mark between their eyebrows. The man in front had a lightning bolt between his eyebrows. As for the 2 behind him, one youth had a crescent moon mark and the last one had a flame mark. This is the spatial crack you found. The youth with the crescent moon mark between his eyebrows looked around with excitement in his eyes. This video will end here.